So I'm going to start just by simple things like, what is the connection between the lymphatic system and breast health? And really the lymphatic system systemically needs to be paid attention to because it doesn't just affect breast health, it affects all your organ systems and your immune system. So yes, I have this lovely image up here. As you can see, I'll talk about that in just a moment, but you have roughly 500 to 1,000 lymph nodes or more, depending on who you talk to, in your body, and they're primarily located in your neck, your armpits, your axillary lymph nodes, your groin, behind your knees. Most of them are in your abdomen, around all your internal organs and intestines. But as you can see, your breast tissue is very rich with lymphatic vessels and lymph nodes. And that is intricately linked to breast health because your lymphatic system, it maintains proper fluid balance in the breast tissue. It removes waste products from the breast tissue, as well as healthy circulation for nutrients and immune cells and white blood cells that actually fight pathogens and infection and different imbalances like inflammation. So, as you can see, it plays a key role in breast health. And there's a lot you can do to support that. So we're going to talk about that. But I want to share some of the most common things that I work with breast health. People think that when they come to see me for a breast massage, that's all I do for the session, but it's not. It's a small part of what I do for the whole lymphatic system. So, but it is the emphasis of the session. So the most common things I work with breast imbalances are, and most of them, they're benign, if I'm working with them at that stage, are cysts. Fibrocystic breast tissue is one of the most common. Different benign lumps where they go and they have a mammogram, they do a biopsy, it's benign. They're afraid it's going to become cancerous, so they come see me. And surprisingly, with some lifestyle changes, we're able to reverse that in a matter of 3 to 6 months. So it's very empowering to let you know it doesn't have to be scary. And interestingly, from what I've been reading, I love this book, Healthy, Happy Breasts. 90% of all lumps found in the breast are benign, so there's a lot you can do. Like I said, I do work with fibrocystic breast is the most common, and the 3 main reasons for that are inflammation, estrogen dominance, and lymph stagnation. So that can be reversed with some lifestyle changes. I also work with ladies going through explant surgery because of breast implant illness. So there's more of that than women realize is happening, and the FDA actually says that all breast implants will start leaking or causing problems between 11 and 20 years, so it really needs to be monitored closely. Things you can do for healthy breasts, and this picture of the bra in the book, Dressed to Kill, it's about bras. So Jocelyn, the bra fitter, maybe we'll have a bra fitting party, but 80 to 90% of all women wear a bra that doesn't fit properly or is too small. Your bra should never leave indentations or red marks or be uncomfortable or poke you when you're wearing it. And because when that's happening, you're trapping lymphatic fluid in the breast tissue. That creates the perfect storm for inflammation or things more serious. So in underwire bras, as you can see up here, these lymph nodes up there, the wire ends right about the point where the lymph travels into the axillary lymph nodes to move it out of the breast. So it does trap it. I'm not saying never wear them, but you're going to want to take it off and do breast massage or some other things to get the circulation going in there, because breasts get healthy circulation when they wiggle and they bounce. So going without a bra as often as possible is ideal. And in this book, Dressed to Kill, they wrote, the couple wrote this book. It's a husband and wife team. They wrote this book when the wife developed a lump in her breast, and they wanted to figure out why. Well, she wore a bra a lot. And it is a little bit of a controversial book, but it has some really great information in it. And what they discovered was, with all the research they did going back several years, is that the more hours you wear a bra, the higher risk you are for developing cancer or different imbalances in the breast tissue. So the more you go without it, the better you'll be. Now I realize for some women that's very uncomfortable, but I don't recommend sleeping in a bra. You need to give your breasts some time to breathe and move. Something we don't really think about, but the second thing I really recommend is drink a lot of water. So, hydration is really important for the lymphatic system because it's your river of life. Everyone reaches for their water. It's your river of life. It's also known as your silent sanitation system. It's also a critical piece of your immune system. And, if you're not properly hydrated, that river of life turns into the river of sludge. So it's not really able to move the toxins out. It's not able to transport nutrients and healthy circulation because it transports fats and nutrients to all your organ systems. And if it's not working, it doesn't do its job. It also is not able to fight infection and disease properly because it's not moving properly. So if you think about that, that's systemically, that's not just for your breasts, but that's your whole body, your digestion, and everything. So, and that doesn't include sugary juices and soda pop, beer, alcohol. So herbal teas are okay, but water. So it's really important to stay hydrated. And just by getting a lymphatic session actually stimulates your immune system to start producing more white blood cells to fight infection. And you don't have to do very much, and you can do some of that yourself. Deep belly breathing not only calms your nervous system, but it pumps your lymphatic system from your abdominal cavity up to your thoracic cavity and up to the neck where everything begins and ends with the lymphatic system. That also affects the tissue going through the breast tissue, the whole chest area. So it pumps that lymphatic fluid. The other thing that I love is deep belly laughter, even better than deep belly breathing, because that also stimulates your happy hormones, your immune system starts producing more white blood cells. And there was a really good story a long time ago about a woman who was diagnosed with cancer, and her husband and her watched comedies, and she said they laughed away their cancer. Her cancer. So laughter is good medicine for you. So that's also good for breast health. Something I recommend to all my clients is dry skin brushing. Right, Julia? Mm-hmm. So dry skin brushing, and if anybody wants instructions on how to do it properly, just for your lymphatic system instead of just going crazy with it, I do have instructions I can email you. You just let me know if you'd like that. Dry skin brushing is great for your lymphatic system. And it's also a great way to exfoliate your skin, and you get nice baby soft skin, and you may not need as much lotion. So that's something that's easy to do right before you hop in the shower, and then you can rinse all that skin off. Self breast massage. This is something that just takes a couple minutes. You can do it in the shower. I have clients that get this laminated and they have it in their shower. But self breast massage, and I give credit to my colleague Aubrey Lisicki, who teaches breast massage, and she's all about breast health in Seattle. She came up with this acronym and the instructions for this, so I give her credit. But it only takes a minute in the shower, a couple minutes in the shower. You can do it every day before you get in the shower. It's also a great time to do self-breast exam, which we'll go over in a minute. And so it's an acronym called the FAST technique: pump, honk, around the clock, slide, and twist. So you just read the instructions. It's very simple. I teach all my breast health clients how to do this when they come into my office. We go over it. And at the end, a great memory aid for that is pump the brakes and honk the horn as you go around the mountain. Watch for rock slides and twists and turns in the road. So this is one of my favorites. It's easy to do. So I I mean, like I said, I have about 15 things to go over. I just wanted to give you 5 things to think about for self-breast care. I love what you all shared today. We got everything from doing several things to women that didn't really know what to do, or, So I hope that this really helps you with some things you can add. Just add 1 or 2 things so it's not overwhelming. Of course, the most cost-effective thing you can do is a self-breast exam. And I have worked with so many ladies who don't want to touch their breasts because they're actually afraid they're going to find something. And I have I have a fair number of clients I've worked with over the years that are so terrified of ever getting breast cancer that they preemptively have them removed. And, that's a really long journey because they're really going through the same process as a woman who's gone through breast cancer treatment without the radiation and the chemo. They still have the reconstruction and the ramifications of that. So I like to empower women so they're more comfortable touching their breasts. They're a part of our body. They're the most undertouched place on the body. And they're very nurturing. What's not to love about your breasts? So a breast self-examination is a good start. It's the most cost-effective. A lot of ladies don't know what they should be looking for, but the closest thing to a tumor would be like a hard little rock or something of that nature. If it's larger and it's soft, it's probably a cyst or something that's benign, and that is something that can be resolved with some lifestyle changes because I've seen it happen in my practice. Adhesions in the breast tissue happen with most often after you've had, if women that have had breast reduction, or they've had the explant surgery, or they have implants and they start to get adhesions in there. That needs to be monitored and checked pretty regularly. So the breast self-exam. Thermography is really a great starting point to monitor breast health. And the reason I like to start with thermography and full breast ultrasound with Angela Barnes at Covina in Liberty Lake is because it's non-invasive and it doesn't have the EMFs. So thermography is really a great starting point because they look for function of the breast, what's happening in the breast tissue. They look for asymmetry in the breast tissue, inflammation. They look for different markers. They grade it. Kelly Callahan at Northwest Thermography here in Coeur d'Alene, we're fortunate to have her here. She grades it on a scale of 1 to 5. Actually, the doctors do. So the doctors read the report. And a 1 and a 2 is a mild, 3 is moderate, and 4 can be moderate to severe, and 5 is severe. If she sees a 4 or 5 or a 5, she'll send them to Covina for a full breast ultrasound. If they're more mild and moderate, she'll send them to me because she knows it's most likely benign. And we're able to resolve those. So making some lifestyle changes with some of the things I've covered, in addition to a lot of other things I recommend, in 3 to 6 months, the thermography is balanced. So there is a lot you can do. So it's a good starting point to monitor. And thermography can actually find imbalances or rapid growth happening 8 to 10 years before it actually turns cancerous. So I really like to recommend thermography as a starting point, but I do want to qualify that as it's not a diagnostic. It's prevention. It's not a diagnostic tool. So if she, like I said, if she sees something that's questionable, she will send them for further testing. So I like that it's non-invasive, there's no pressure on the fragile breast tissue, and it's just infrared heat patterns, looking for heat patterns. Of course, if you're breastfeeding, you don't want a thermography until 6 months after you're done breastfeeding because it will show a lot of heat in the breast because there's more circulation, obviously. So I really like that. Yeah, it measures blood flow to the breast. I like that a lot of these changes that are imbalances happening in the breast tissue, 3 to 6 months is all it takes with some lifestyle changes. And you go back for another thermography and it's much more balanced. The breasts look much more even. the interesting thing is you can tell if a bra is too tight here because it shows up as bright red on a thermogram. And the other thing is bras too tight here interrupt with the lymph flow all the way up and down the body. This is like the cutoff line, and because it's leaving those indentations in the skin. So something to think about. And on thermography, on almost every woman, it's red under the breast tissue. So another reason to do self-breast massage in the shower, because you'll take care of that. The full breast ultrasound, Tammy said she's gone to Cavina. Angela Barnes is great. And they do, it's a German, it's called, I don't know if I pronounce it right, Sonosine. And they do 3,000 to 5,000 images of the breast. And the reason I prefer that over a mammogram is because if you have dense breast tissue, like fibrocystic breast, cancer shows up white on a mammogram. Fibrocystic breasts show up white on a mammogram. So they miss a lot of cancer diagnoses on fibrocystic breasts until it's much later. And at Cavina, they can discover a little 4 to 10 millimeter lump in the breast in fibrocystic breast, in very dense tissue. And they'll send you for a mammogram for a diagnostic. So those are really great starting points. And as you said, Tammy, you know, they're very thorough. 3,000 to 5,000 images, depending on the size of your breast. You won't get that going in just for a regular ultrasound. They can also miss a lot of things in dense breast tissue. So, and it's automated, which is interesting. I want to meet with Angela and learn more about that and just take a tour, because I haven't been there yet, but I should. So, yeah, so I'm going to read this to you because I got this out of my Happy Healthy Breast book that I love. Yes, I've read the whole thing several times. The difficult truth is that mammography misses cancer 50 to 60% of the time for women with dense breast tissue. And because more than 40% of women have dense breast tissue, many without knowing it, cancer can slip by undetected. So that's why I like to start with monitoring and prevention. And, you know, mammography is not prevention. It's not. There's a lot of people that believe it actually causes cancer. And the reason for that is you're directing very high-powered EMFs directly into the fragile breast tissue over and over and over again. They've had women that wear a cell phone that has the same type of EMF, wearing it in her bra, and later to discover she has cancer in the pattern of the EMFs being emitted in her breast tissue. So never wear your phone in your bra or in a pocket really next to your body. So, so mammography, it's not prevention, it's a diagnostic. It looks at the structure of the breast. It doesn't look at the function of the breast like thermography and ultrasound do. And I like that the most recent study on mammography dates from October 2015. The report, quote, "Mammograms have not cut the rate of advanced breast cancer," which was published in the New England Journal of Medicine, was made by 3 leading cancer specialists and is based on statistics that go all the way back to the 1970s. Listen to this sentence. It came out a week after the American Cancer Society actually cut its advice on annual mammograms. So they're saying you don't really need an annual mammogram. And yet the medical establishment is pushing annual mammograms. So I know they're important diagnostic tool, but I really want to stress prevention and monitoring before you go there. And I also I've read some really good information on Quorum about women getting their breast tissue damaged by mammograms. And you know, the breast, it doesn't show the Cooper's ligaments, but you have ligaments in your breast tissue. They're called the Cooper's ligaments. They suspend the breast tissue. That's what gives them their perky look up top. And they're very delicate. And when you get a mammogram, you're compressing 60 pounds of pressure on that delicate, fragile breast tissue. And then you're emitting the EMFs into the breast tissue. And now the equipment they have is so much more powerful than what they had 10 or 20 years ago. So there have been some whistleblowers coming forth saying don't get mammograms because they do cause cancer. That's why I like to resort to that only as a diagnostic tool and not as a preventative tool. And I know it's very controversial, but that's my own feeling. And I had a bad experience with a mammogram 25 years ago, and I have not been back. So it was a false positive. And they put you through all kinds of negative testing that are painful, only to find out it's not positive. So that's very stressful for women going through that. And I just want to share this as well. It's all out of this book, if anybody is interested. According to the Cochrane report, there are more than 10 times false positive results than justified results, and that discrepancy only creates fear. What your mind tells your body, if you're living in fear, afraid that you have cancer, what's your body going to do with that? There's a close connection between the brain and the body. Many women and their families suffer from worry and stress in cases of false positive results, and then they have to go through the painful tests to discover it's really not positive. I want to share something really positive about two of my clients that I've recently seen to kind of add a little levity. So I have one client, she was coming to me every 2 weeks, and I'd give her assignment to do at home. She came to me because she has fibrocystic breast. She had a lump in her armpit. It was benign. She had it tested. But her breasts were so tender, her husband hadn't been able to touch them in years, right? So she's like, well, I know you need to work on them, but they're so tender, I don't know if I want you to touch them. So I actually just did lymphatic. We started there. And seeing me regularly and her doing her own self-breast care at home, the issue completely resolved, and her husband was very happy. Let's put it that way. He was very happy. And the other client was a 21-year-old who had a lump in her left breast about the size of a golf ball. It was benign. They wouldn't do surgery on it because it would have left a deep, indentation in her breast. And she started seeing me every week, and she had a terrible diet, so we worked on her diet. She did the self-breast massage, and she was seeing me for coaching and regular, checking on her breast tissue. It was shrinking. It was shrinking, a benign lump in her breast shrinking. I don't know what happened to her because she stopped coming to me, but we saw great progress. She was only seeing me for a couple months, and it shrunk to half its size before she stopped coming in. So if she continued, I'm sure it would have resolved, but I don't know if it did or not. But backing up, I want to go back to the mammogram and the Cooper's ligaments. On Quorum, what I was reading about, this just came to me, women were getting their breast tissue damaged, so it flattened the top of the breast and pushed the breast tissue off to the side. And they were so upset, and you can never fix that. So just be aware of that too.